Saturday, the Experts program kicks off here on Power Talk Radio, and our tech expert, Luis Alvarez, is joining us right now. Hello, Luis.
Hey, Mark. How are you today?
Doing really well. So, going to be spending the weekend at Pebble Beach for the U.S. Women's Open. This is the golf tournament that is put on by the United States Golf Association, and it is the first time that the Women's Open, U.S. Women's Open, has ever been at Pebble Beach.
You think about the Women's Open and the fact that it has never been here, and you ask yourself, why is it, how did that happen? But I'm finally glad that they're out here. I know that my father-in-law is bringing my nieces down from Walnut Creek. They're 10 and 7 years old, and they both are golf fans, so they're going to be coming out to see the lady golfers out on the course, so they're really excited.
Oh, that's great. Well, big crowds are coming out for this, and for folks that are coming out for the event today, you can park out at Carmel Middle School, and then shuttles will run from the middle school to Pebble Beach. They're not using Fort Ord, the parade grounds out at Fort Ord, like they do for the AT&T and the Men's Open, so there's no parking out there, but the parking is actually a little closer than Fort Ord being
That's
at the
nicer.
middle school. Hey, we've got a great story to share with folks here, and this is really kind of a lot of fun. It's about a brand new chatbot that will let you torture robocallers and telemarketers. Now, I discovered this. It was in my Facebook feed the other day. There was a story there about this guy who's got a company called JollyRogerRevenge.com, and he came up with this idea of using AI chatbots to respond to telephone calls from robocallers and telemarketers, because, as he explained, the longer you keep them, when a telemarketer calls you, and a lot of times they're in some boiler room somewhere halfway across the world, but when a telemarketer calls you and you keep them on the line and you don't buy anything from them, it costs them money, because those telephone calls aren't necessarily free, and of course they're compensated one way or another for their time, but they're not producing. They're not ripping enough people off for their boss's satisfaction. So if you were as annoyed by these telephone calls that we all get on our cell phones and our landlines, this may be the thing for you. And Luis, how exactly does this work? And then we're going to go ahead and play a little bit of a sample of one of these AI chatbot calls.
Sure. So it's really ingenious the way that he designed this. If you go to jollyrogertelephone.com, you can sign up there. It's basically a couple bucks a month. If you sign up for the year, you get a little bit of a discount. But then you can add as many phone numbers as you want to the system. And the way it works is when you get a phone call, either on your landline or on your cell phone, you basically transfer the call to the bot. And you'll have a phone number that you can add to your speed dial, for example. And if you're using an iPhone or Droid, if it's a cell phone, then you just click add a call and then put in that number. And then you just transfer that telemarketer, once you figure out it's a telemarketer, to the chatbot. And you can do the same thing with the landline. So if you have, most of us have landlines at home, or now for the most part, you might be using a Comcast VoIP line or AT&T VoIP line, but those offer, three-way calling, and it works the same way. But once you transfer the call, you can pick the bot that you think will annoy the telemarketer the most. You can have picked from several different ones, different voices, different attitudes. And, once the call is transferred, the chatbot will initially just use generic terms and phrases to keep the telemarketer on the call. But once it starts, the telemarketer starts pitching their whatever it is that they're pitching, it uses ChatGPT-4, which is the most current version of GPT, to actually listen to the content of the telemarketer and then start responding specifically to what they're trying to pitch. So it learns, this is about buying insurance. So let me start talking about, well, I already have insurance, but I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say. And the example you're going to play really bears this out.
And by the way, if you're using this let me ask you, when they call in on, say, your cell phone, you ID it as a spam call, and you add the call and you transfer the number, does that then free up your cell phone for anything else that you need to do?
At that point, you are free, and they are in chatbot hell. So
all right.
You have done your work.
So let's go ahead and hear this sample of how this Jolly Roger telephone revenge works. Now, the telemarketer is a male, obviously in some foreign country. The chatbot is a female voice. Listen to how realistic her voice is and her response is. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, ma'am, do you have a remote control in your handy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
like,
so
ma'am,
interesting. Speaking of TV, did you know, I just want a local talent show. It's so much fun. What's your favorite talent show on TV? Maybe we can chat about that while you tell me more about this cable box upgrade.
I watch American Premier Movie channels only.
That's so exciting. I just want a local talent show, and I've been looking for ways to celebrate. Can you tell me more about these TV services? Maybe I can have a big viewing party with my friends.
Like, ma'am, the thing is that I'm calling you from the TV services that you are using at your place.
I just got a promotion at work, and I'm super excited about it. I've been thinking about upgrading my TV setup to celebrate. Can you tell me more about these new fiber optic cables and how they'll improve my TV experience? I'd love to hear all the details.
Okay, ma'am, first of all, we have to check the compatibility of your boxes, like the boxes that you have.
So he just keeps going back to his prepared sales pitch because he doesn't know what to do. But what is amazing is the chatbot voice, right? That woman that they've created with the chatbot, GPT-4. I mean, if you didn't know any better, you'd swear it was a real person.
Absolutely. And that's, in a way, you're seeing the power of GPT and what it can do. And in this case, it's a fun, fooling somebody thing, but it's also scary that bad guys can use this for more nefarious purposes. And we have to be aware that that's the new reality, that when you get a call and it sounds like somebody that you know or somebody that you may know, you got to be a little bit careful about it.
The calls I really hate, and I don't know if you ever get these at home, but I get them at home, where I answer the phone and it's obviously some sort of chatbot type voice that the scammers, well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a scammer, but this guy calls, Mark, hey Mark, how you doing? This is Jerry. I'm with the National Police Officers Association, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about a program that we have for orphan kids in your area. And I just hang up at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did get a call from a live scammer last weekend, and my landline,
really?
my landline rang, and I answered the phone, and this woman was crying on the phone. Well, actually, before I even said anything, she starts this litany of, I've been in a terrible accident. My car is wrecked, and I broke my nose, and I'm calling you from the police station. So immediately my red flags go up because I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. If you have an injury, like a broken nose, they're not taking you to the police station. The paramedics are going to arrive at the accident scene. They're going to take you to the hospital. So you've already screwed up, scammer. And then I said to her, who is this? And she's crying, and in her crying voice, she says, this is your daughter. And I said, I don't have a daughter. And there was this pause. And then I heard this girl say, crap. And she hung up the phone.
Oh, that's funny.
Not getting any money from me, dear.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've all had that call. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an emergency. Help me, so
they're always out there. They're always trying to get you.
For you.
They're always trying to separate you from your money, basically.
Exactly.
All right. Well, fun stuff today with Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group. And we had a good laugh at the expense of some of the scammers. But hey, folks, just always have your spidey sense on when these telephone calls come in, and don't get taken for a ride, and be very, very suspicious when people are asking you for money or stating that it's an emergency and you got to do it right away. It generally isn't an emergency, and you don't have to do it right away, and you just need to hang up.
Exactly. Their sense of urgency is not your sense of urgency.
That's it. There used to be an old saying, maybe you remember hearing this when you were a kid, but I remember one of the first jobs I worked at, the boss had a sign on his desk that said, lack of preparation on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
Yep, I learned that in the Air Force. That was one of my NCO's favorite phrases.
Okay. All right, that's Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group. Online, you'll find them at alvareztg.com, at alvareztg. That's the Twitter handle, and Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call at 866-78-I-TEAM. That's 866-784-8326.